When Leviathan at Canada's Wonderland burst onto the scene in 2012, it was the very first of what would become one of the most highly acclaimed roller coaster models ever, the B&M Giga Coaster. Up until that point, B&M was known for playing it safe, rarely crossing the 200-foot barrier only with their hyper and dive coasters. But when Canada's Wonderland came calling for a roller coaster that eclipsed the 300-foot barrier, B&M said yes. And here we are today with one of the best roller coasters in Canada, and the one that put its park on the map for many coaster enthusiasts. So today, we're going to talk about Leviathan, including what I think about the ride experience, trains, theming, and where it ranks among the Giga coasters I've ridden. So without further ado, let's get straight into my review of Canada's tallest, fastest, and longest roller coaster. Leviathan starts with a short turn to the right before ascending the 306-foot tall lift, giving incredible views of the park, the city of Vaughan, and even a great look at downtown Toronto. And after you crest the top of the lift, you head down the massive 306-foot 80-degree drop. And these drops on B&M Gigas especially are insane. Like, they're so long that you recognize every single section of the drop. From the start where the airtime kicks in, to even when you feel the airtime start to dwindle away as the drop progresses. It is absolutely mental. After the drop, you head into a short above-ground tunnel before heading into a fast-paced turn to the right, which had some positive cheese. Next, Leviathan heads into a quick speed hill, which offers some great floater airtime, much like the next element, an absolutely massive airtime hill that runs right next to the parking lot. This once again gives great view of Toronto to your left and the entire park to your right. Next, you drop to your left over the security checkpoint, before heading into an oddly profiled overbank turn. Like, the track literally changes its angle or its heart lining about halfway through, which I actually grew to kinda like the more rides I got. Next, Leviathan drops to the left before having a quick turn to the right, which had a slight pop of floater airtime. Next, Leviathan goes into one final airtime hill, which unfortunately has a trim brake, but it did not hit for me most of the time and still had fantastic airtime regardless. Leviathan then has one floaty overbank turn to the left before popping into the massive brake run. And that ends your 5,486 foot long journey on Leviathan. Leviathan features the standard B&M Hypercoaster trains. These differ to those on Behemoth because Leviathan's trains are a straight 4 across, like most hypercoasters and all other Gigas. Whereas Behemoth features the staggered seating found on something like Diamondback at Kings Island or Shambhala at Portaventura World. As for restraints, Leviathan uses the standard B&M clamshell, which is easily one of the best restraints in the business. It is super comfortable, super forgiving, and the ops here don't staple very often, so you will get plenty of room to enjoy those plentiful airtime moments. Another thing I really enjoyed about the trains is how they looked. The sea creature themed front car looks really nice, and the general color scheme fits the ride very well. Overall, these trains are just amazing. Leviathan is themed to, well, the Leviathan, which is a sea monster that was referenced in many biblical scriptures. Leviathan at Canada's Wonderland aligns mostly with the Jewish accounts of the creature, with it being mentioned as the sea monster alongside Behemoth, the land monster. Leviathan was described in Jewish scripture as being a monster 300 miles in length, which could allude to the ride's 300-foot height. It was also mentioned with having large horns with writing on them, which can also be found in the ride's logo. This theme is really cool. And another thing I really liked about the ride was the presentation. It looks great in the medieval fair section, with the amazing looking logo front and center. From the allusion back to Behemoth, to the logo having horns on it, to the track being that light blue color, this is textbook theming from Canada's Wonderland, and I really wish more parks put as much effort as they did into theming up an attraction. Leviathan is an excellent roller coaster. There's really no other way of putting it. It is by far my favorite roller coaster in Canada, and it is even my favorite Giga coaster I've ridden. I think it has a lot better pacing and length than Orion, and Millennium Force, it does not even touch this ride in the Forces department. And while I haven't ridden Fury yet, I think this ride might have a shot at beating it for me. Guess we'll just have to wait and see. Anyway, Leviathan has all the makings of a great ride. It has the height, the speed, and even the length to compete with just about every roller coaster you can throw at it. And the things that complete the ride out, like the theming and presentation of the ride, are also great. If you haven't already, I highly recommend a trip to Canada's Wonderland to ride Leviathan. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you next time. Bye.